Tell me about Elon Musk and the Starlink aspect of the meeting. Forget the Twitter aspect of the meeting. What is his plan with Starlink? What was the agreement? Is it an enforceable agreement? Tell people about Starlink and how that influences or impacts any future activity by the resistance by the people of Gaza.
So I'm not familiar if there were any updates in the last 24 hours or 48 hours regarding Starlink, but I know that Elon Musk was starting a Starlink terminal in Isreal, and they released them in stages. So in some areas, you have access to Starlink at a certain speed, but in other areas, they're not going to get access for like a year or two at best. And Elon Musk has been trying to expedite that process. The Israelis have definitely taken advantage of the October 7th moment to say, hey, we need charity, we need help, we need this, we need that.
Mm-hmm.
And so Elon Musk has, committed to speeding up the process for Israelis to get it. And of course, because Elon Musk gave Starlink to Ukraine and he flew it on a cargo plane himself directly within a couple of days to make sure that the people of Ukraine had internet,
Mm-hmm.
people were saying, hey, why aren't you doing that for Gaza? So Elon was kind of like stuck in a tough position because one, he doesn't want to look like a hypocrite. Two, he doesn't want to piss off the Israeli government. Three, Hamas is technically a terrorist organization, according to the United States. And so if he were to send Starlink to them, that's material support for terrorism. And he's already being accused of anti-Semitism. And so it was kind of like a minefield. He was like, damn it, what do I do? So he said, okay, I'll just offer to send Starlink to the Red Cross or internationally recognized organizations that are not terrorists. The Israelis were not happy about that, and they threatened to attack and destroy any equipment that's sent. It's not an easy setup. Like the Starlink terminals they require a lot of power, and it's not like sending you a bunch of solar panels with a Wi-Fi router. It's a lot bigger, it's a lot more sophisticated, and it takes a lot of power. So it's not an easy thing to set up anyway. And if an enemy combatant as genocidal and insane as the Israelis are, they blew up the USS Liberty, right?
Yep.
If they're threatening to blow up the Starlink terminal, then it's kind of difficult. So Elon is the real hostage. I've been saying for the last few days. He's been held hostage. They accuse him of anti-Semitism, and they nearly tanked Twitter a week ago. That's why you saw Elon all of a sudden like turn into a zombie, and now he's like just parroting and repeating whatever they say. And part of me wants to say, come on, man, have a backbone. If you have all these followers on Twitter, if you just said, hey guys, bail me out, this is the free speech platform, I think people would have done it. But the thing is, these companies have a lot of money, they have a lot of influence, and so the other part of me understands he made a big purchase and there's a lot at stake. And so it's complicated. Even if people were to start subscribing and shore up, the losses from the advertising revenue, Apple could remove him from the App Store. Android could remove him from the Google Store. There's a lot of, like the EU threatened to have him removed completely from Europe. So it's not it's not like, okay, you guys pay me now. It's not that simple. So I'm not making excuses for him. But it is a really difficult position to be in. We all know how powerful the Zionists are, and they've wielded that power against him. And in a week, they turned him into a completely different person. It's actually incredible to see.
It was hilarious when he said, it sounds trite, but I just want world peace. It sounded like someone who just got really, got spanked, and now all of a sudden is playing nice, right? Someone who was a big shot of the siblings, walking around like he's the big, the big shot, and all of a sudden after he gets a beating and he gets spanked and he gets yelled at the principal's office, now he comes back and he's like, I really wish the world has world peace. Yeah, because you're so good now and you want peace now because it's a lot easier to do business and to sell ads and to sell Starlink and whatever it is that you're doing when you don't have to make moral choices and you don't have to upset anybody, and your actual opinion isn't upsetting the adults in the room, because your mind is one way, but you realize that all the adults in the room are on the other side and all the powers that be on the other side. So obviously he's a completely changed man. And I'm going to sort of guess here or forecast that type of bro attitude that he was taking the last year or two on Twitter I think it's going to be gone. He was like a red-pilled bro in the last 2 years or something. I think that attitude is going to be gone because he's sort of been, really, he's been spanked in front of everybody.
Yeah, he has. You know, this Twitter purchase,
Yeah.
as much as he tried to say it was about free speech, God knows what it's really about. You know, I don't believe, as impulsive as Elon Musk can be, I don't believe he actually tells everyone his true intentions.
Yeah.
You know, he's also developing AI. He has Tesla. He has SpaceX. Twitter may fit into that plan for different reasons. I don't think he did it necessarily for free speech. Maybe he did it to help the Republicans get into office. I don't know why he really did it. Only he knows. But you know, that purchase was a significant investment. And that purchase also has exposed him even more than just Tesla or SpaceX did to the interests of many different groups. Now everyone has a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
And the Zionists made that very, very clear when he responded. He did two things in the last 2 weeks that really angered them. The first thing, he did an interview with Lex Friedman where he was pro-Israel like 99% of the conversation, but he said one thing that got clipped. He said, when you kill somebody in Gaza, you turn 5 kids into fighters.
Yep.
Which is a very reasonable thing to say.
Yep.
This angered the Israelis.
Yep.
The second thing he said, a lot of white people white conservatives are upset with the Jewish community in America because they view them as being complicit in the narrative that is essentially accusing or attacking the white community in America.
So woke,
so
basically.
we beyond that, though, it's not just woke. We find it laughable when they say there's a white genocide in America, right? But a lot of white conservatives deeply believe this. They believe they're under attack. And in a lot of ways, they are in terms of messaging, right? Their culture, their identity is being picked away at.
Yep.
And a lot of the like thinkers and writers that are propagating this anti-white message are Jews in America. And so somebody commented, they said, you know, Jews want us to feel bad for them now, right? But they've been, you know, talking about us. So I don't feel bad for them. I'm not going to all of a sudden care about them and what they're, you know, they're saying that anti-Semitism is growing. I'm not going to care about that because you didn't care about me, right? As a white person. And Elon said, that's true, or that's correct. Probably an impulsive tweet, but he was just acknowledging something that he, you know, agreed with. This really, so these two things combined, acknowledging that tweet where they're essentially blaming the Jewish community for attacking the white conservatives in America, and this Lex Friedman comment he made about killing children and converting them into fighters when they grow up, this made the Israelis just basically go, okay, you know what? We're tired of this. You keep talking. You're threatening our narrative.
Yep.
Whether it's intentional or not, doesn't matter. We're going to make an example out of you. And so every single advertiser, they just hit them up and said, this guy's being anti-Semitic, pull your advertisements.
The lobby is just that strong. And what he should have done, I mean, if he owns Twitter, instead of exposing himself like that, he could have just elevated the tweet, right? I mean, isn't it not too hard? I'm sure it's not too hard. You know, put this tweet on everybody's, make it go on 50% of the timelines or whatever.
Right.
I'm sure
or don't
that's
say
not
anything
so
at all. You don't see Mark. Nobody know, even though we all know behind the scenes what Mark Zuckerberg is up to.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg and Meta, the CEO of Instagram is he's a dual citizen. He's an American and an Israeli citizen. We know, obviously, what Mark Zuckerberg's views are, but you don't hear him talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
People probably now dislike Elon more than they dislike Mark, even though Mark is obviously a Zionist.
There's not enough material to hate him with.
Yeah, he's not even going to comment on this,
Yeah.
right? So that's all Elon would have to do as well, just stop talking, right?
Well,
but that's not part of his personality, I